Well, classroom animals are once again welcome in schools in Old Saybrook. District leaders temporarily removed them earlier this year because they wanted to make sure that some added safety precautions were in place.
Your reporter Roger Susanen is live outside the Goodwin School breaking down the compromise. So Roger, people are pretty passionate about this.
Absolutely, ladies. A lot of parents and students here at Goodwin Elementary and other schools in Old Saybrook were devastated when this situation initially played out. Get this, more than 300 people actually signed a petition over this issue, but now the critters can come back to the classroom under a few important conditions. This is the little guy who initially sparked the controversy. Oscar, a bearded dragon, was the superstar pet in a third-grade classroom here at the Goodwin School. But earlier this year, district leaders temporarily removed Oscar and every other classroom animal for safety reasons. They were worried about allergies and liability in particular and wanted to get some policies on the book. But district families rallied around the cold-blooded cutie, launching a petition and a free Oscar campaign. The Board of Ed was listening. Last night, members unanimously approved the return of classroom pets with a few important guidelines. First, teachers must tell parents about the animals ahead of time to mitigate allergy concerns. And the school nurse must sign off and explain how they would treat any injuries. But the bottom line is Oscar and all his scaly and furry friends are welcome again at Old Saybrook schools. And one other guideline was hashed out last night, and that is that teachers will have to agree to any costs associated with these animals before they bring a pet into their classroom. Reporting in Old Saybrook, I'm your reporter Roger Susanen, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.